Milk is a kind of nourishment which has 18 of the 22 daily essentials. The moment he has one glass of complete milk, we are so happy that my child
is going to be full for some time.
Yes.
Now. Even kids who have a balanced meal can sometimes be malnourished. So, what are some of the common nutrition gaps that you see?
Because the soil conditions have deteriorated, the nourishment, the nutrition in the soil has been missing. So definitely that is percolating to the foods that the children are eating today.
There's a lot of buzz these days about A2 milk and how that might be better than the regular milk that we used to get.
There is no research. It was just a kind of sensationalism or something.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Conscious Indian Mama Pod. I'm your host Gunjan. And as a mom, I honestly find myself thinking, sometimes even overthinking this one question. How do I know the food I'm feeding my family is actually safe? Is that glass of milk actually clean? Are those veggies really pesticide-free? How do I even begin to know? That's why I wanted to have this conversation with a mother who's working very closely in this space and try to make a difference to the food that you get in your plate every day. Today we have Shilpa with us from Akshayakalpa. Hi Shilpa.
Hi Gunjan.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me and for the invite.
So I'll be honest, I've been using Akshayakalpa products for over 4 years now, and that's the only dairy product I've ever given to Kian. That's why I knew, the kind of dedication you guys have towards making sure that, the food is clean, the dairy is actually clean, and that's why we're talking all about food safety today, from dairies to vegetables to everything that you eat in your kitchen. We're talking a little bit about picky eating, and we're also touching into knowing the source of your food. Before we get into that, Shilpa, I want to ask you about your journey. I saw that you were a techie who's turned into an organic food enthusiast. So how did that happen? How did that transition happen?
So my journey began, I had a typical 90s kid, having that kind of feeling of achieving something in the life, being a techie. Engineering stream and being a doctor stream is what is the dream of every kid that time.
True.
And I also aspired similarly to be a techie sometime and, go settle down somewhere in the abroad. That's what. And as you know, in the Indian culture, the marriages change change the entire dreams or whatever. It's a turning point in everybody's life.
Yeah.
So I was working, and before my marriage as well, in a software company. And then this marriage again took a turn, and we had to move to US for some period of time. And so there I was on a dependent visa where I'm not supposed to work. So that took a pause with the break with my work, and so for a few years we stayed there. And then I was researching a lot about venues, how I could improve my skill and things like that. Of course, my husband is my inspiration today, because he's born in a farmer family and not me. So, and after that journey, after that project completion in the US, we came back to India, and we were, as he was very passionate about farming and food and all those things. So that's how it started. So I had to make some decisions regarding this. So once we are back, and again I resumed my work here in Bangalore. So the exact turning point happened when my child was born. So when we were looking for some alternative schools. We didn't want, after he grew the age, school growing age he came into. So we were looking for some alternative schools. We didn't want him to get into the mainstream, going through the academic pains and memorizing things, going and writing exams. We really were looking for some alternative things. And of course, so we made a decision to move towards Ramnagar. It's a kind of where we bought some land. We started experimenting. Maybe, I always think, even today, when I can reflect. So it shows that, the universe was conspiring us, to work towards. We didn't have any foresight about what
Yeah.
that we would begin something as Akshayakalpa or a brand or nothing like that. We were just wanted to make things clear, where we wanted to understand, how to grow food, coming up with how to educate my child with other various venues rather than the academic books and things like that. That was the turning point. We experimented and we started working towards the land, growing our own food, everything, including rice, staples,
Oh,
veggies.
wow.
We were doing that. And then that's when the call happened at Akshayakalpa in Tiptur. There was a call from his uncle and veteran Dr. GNS Reddy from BIF, so who wanted to start Akshayakalpa. So that's how the journey began, and we had to shift towards the south. And one of us, and we decided to take a call about our child, that we would home educate him rather than sending him to the mainstream schools. We didn't find any school that would build a child to learning the life skills.
True. Yeah.
So that's why we ended up, practicing organic farming even before Akshayakalpa. So that's how the journey began.
Wow, that's beautiful. That is true. I mean, it is difficult to find a school even today where you teach the child life skills. So it's a very bold step that you took of homeschooling him. How's that? How was that experience?
That's amazing. Initially, though, I am grown up and lived in a city kind of setup where I myself I didn't know anything about farming as such. So they have to put me. That is my in-laws and my husband have had to put me in a lot of exercises to change my mindset. They didn't do it in a one go. So they put me into various personalities, really thought leaders. They started telling me that's not the way you should think. How to educate a child. You being who has studied so much and made a decision to stay back with your child. One of us had to make that decision. So it was tough initially. But then I realized, over a period of time, it's all in the hands of the mothers or the parents. We can put our efforts and the knowledge that we have acquired, we can, pass it on to our kids is what we made a decision. It was hard for me, but then I realized, the life skills are important. Farming is important, where my child learns to, grow his own food and be vigilant about things. So that's what
Wow,
turned us.
that's really beautiful. That was a really bold step, definitely.
Yes.
So, if I may ask you, how did food look like in your own childhood? How was that experience?
So in the 70s, 80s and 90s, we didn't have this, so much obsession about nutrition and protein intake and all those things, the diet and nothing, it was so good. We were totally, very energetic kids, with that kind of energy and a high metabolism rate, and we were having 4 times a meal, and we didn't have access or privilege to the various kind of foods that we had, so carrots and broccolis and all those things sounded so exotic for me even today. So we were just having a little amount of food, that the regular staples, what we call ragi, rice, they are so much full of nutrition. You don't have to go for something, carrots daily or broccolis or some cereals, oats, nothing was there. This amount of ragi or rice or greens that were available then. So it was so complete nutrition in itself.
True.
So that was more than enough to give us that energy. That was sufficient. So only during the festival times or some celebration times we would have access to these so-called exotic fruits like carrots and cabbages and all those things. So, but still we survived. But still, we made up. We had that energy what the kids these days are missing. So this, somehow takes us back to what has happened to this broken food system, Gunjan. So because we have spoiled the soils, we have spoiled everything. That the soil that nourishes the food, and in turn the food that nourishes us. So that was a missing point. There was nothing, some kind of, hype about food during those days.
Yeah.
And it was really nourishing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what these packaged foods or the industrialized foods is what I think has changed the perceptions, and of course the convenience and other things that has seeped in through these broken food systems. And we as Akshayakalpa are trying to bring in that awareness, bring back that nourishing soils back, and that in turn nourishes our kids is what we are trying to work on.
Yeah. So talking about that, I read so much about adulteration in food these days, especially milk. Oh my God, the videos I've seen, they're really horrifying, right? So it's honestly very anxiety causing, especially as a mom, because I want to make sure that whatever's going inside my child's body is clean to start with. I think that's the bare minimum. So can you talk about some of the everyday things that we're consuming today that might not actually be clean or that might be risky to consume?
Yes, we have to be very vigilant about what we are bringing to our homes and especially to the kitchens. It's not just about the milk. The daily staples, ingredients, veggies, the masalas that we are bringing is all so much adulterated.
Yeah.
We need to be vigilant. So we have to do that extra homework. We as mothers, that's what I feel so pity, for the generation of mothers that the pain they are undergoing. Apart from managing the homes and the work and their careers, they have to do an extra additional thing about this food research as well.
True.
So when this kind of adulterations and contaminations and food poisoning happens, that is prone to, especially the children whose body is just then learning to grab in the nutrition, learning to develop, and that is affecting. So we as mothers or maybe the parents have to make wise choices. What is entering into our kitchens.
That's true.
So it's not just about the safety, not just about the health and things like that. We have to do a deep research with the kind of processing food that is coming day in, day out. We really need to be aware of, what the brands that are coming up with. We need to just do our own research and homework together. That's an additional responsibility to the parents these days.
And it can get very overwhelming.
Yes.
Actually.
But once you get an interest out of it and you get into the insights of beautiful world of food, you'll realize that, it's worth the effort that I'm taking. And you will be, in that space where you have that satisfaction of the knowing that you are giving good food to your family. So there's nothing like that. The food science and the nutrition science is amazing. You don't have to be a science student to understand this, simple things that opens up into various venues of food and nutrition, Gunjan. So you'll understand the nutrition, you'll understand what has been damaged to the earth, the soils. Now, what is it that has caused the farmers to do what they are not supposed to do? All these venues will, open up, and you really want to do something, contribute something to the planet. That's amazing thing. That's what we humans should do, no? Apart from just focusing on our families and things. What else? What else we can do to the ones who is giving us food? We'll understand, where have we erred? How can we go and do something? Being parents or maybe being the consumers.
Maybe to help the parents who are listening, could you give 2 or 3 simple swaps that they can do in their kitchen to start the process?
So one is, go with the trusted brands. Okay. Then again, if possible, you go and check the source of the ingredients. That will definitely, the destination would be to the farmer only. So it's not the middle people, that is the brands or maybe the packagers or the logistics and all those things. Okay, it will direct you to the farmer who is growing. How is he treating this soil? What is happening? What kind of water is being used there to grow? How is he treating his animals? what has happened, what was the soil condition earlier. All those things, revelations happen. So when it comes to the kitchen, this kind of deep research helps. Of course, it takes a lot of energy and time, but it's worth it.
And
The satisfaction you get once you know that you're safe, and you don't have to spend any more energy. You buy from a particular brand where you know the source, where you know how the quality is being processed in their companies, and that's a satisfaction. You just have to stick to it.
That's true.
That's a tip I would suggest to all the young parents.
But I think that process itself, like just to get started, someone wouldn't know how to start. Because a lot of times now these things are very convoluted in the sense that to reach the source, it might take you days.
Correct.
Because, okay, you know a brand, okay, you'll try to maybe look at the label, look at the packaging, maybe go on their website. But not all brands are transparent enough to also reveal the sources openly. So to actually find that out, it might be very challenging.
True.
Right? For
True.
parents.
What you said is the right one. I should have told you that first. So in the kitchens, whenever you bring any kind of packaged foods, the best part is to read the labels. That there is a certain thing, about reading labels. That's a very important pointer. It is in the a decreasing order. The first in ingredient section, if you see sugar is the first element written, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
You should be aware.
That's in the highest quantity,
yes.
right?
Yeah. So then maybe maida or, the kind of codes they use for food colors and, the chemicals or preservatives or whatever that go into. If you are not understanding on the label a particular word written, then you should be aware. You should do your research before you get them into your kitchen.
Yeah.
That's very important. And coming to your question of, to the source of food, how in a city-based or for an urbanite, how do we go for the sourcing and getting to understand the farmer end is very difficult, I understand. So one is, as you said, you'll have to go to the website, you'll have to put some efforts knowing the brand. Okay, what are the quality controls that are put in place, and come up. You will may have to go and give search in for the reviews of a particular products. Maybe reviews they would have given, feedbacks they would have given, and come up with your own queries as well. The brands would be definitely answered. They would love to hear, some feedback. If say suppose you don't know how to use it or you don't know what's happening, we would suggest, as a company, suggest that parents go ahead and speak and ask the questions, like how our customers ask us, what is this milk report? What is this antibiotics? Can you please make a video? Can you please put it on website? That's an interesting thing. So we as parents have to come up with such questions. We should not fear or hesitate. Whether they are answering or not is left to them. So when we are into this kind of research, we will end up with the right product for our families is what I think.
So how are you doing it at Akshayakalpa? What are some specific practices that you follow to make sure that first the safety is maintained and also the transparency for the consumer?
Yes. So there is the quality control is a highest practice that we ensure, that the milk and whatever the products we are procuring from our farmers is of highest standards. In fact, the international standards, I would say. Okay, we have appropriate certifications. So the quality checks begin at the farm level itself. So we buy or we purchase milk only from the trained farmers, Akshayakalpa trained farmers. We work with about 2,000 farmers across Tiptur, Changalpettu area in Tamil Nadu, Tiptur in Karnataka, and Shadnagar and Jadcherla at Telangana states. So the quality checks happen there at the farm level. So the farmer has to take care of his cows, how we take care of his cows, what are the hygiene practices. Everything is taught to him. The veterinary services that is required, the agronomy services that is required. Why agronomy is about the soil conditions. What is the fodder that is growing? What are the things that he is spraying. So it is a process for the farmer himself at his farm.
Okay.
So dairy is only a central part of it.
Right,
Okay, the
right,
other
right.
things will be integrating. So the again, I would like to highlight that Akshayakalpa's objective is to empower farmer, bring back the good food system, repair those soils that we have all depleted of its nutrition. It is a long process. It is we are working with the nature. It is not that overnight we can do some magic. So it takes time. So these farmers whom we are onboarding, it takes them up to 3 years to understand the soil, what has gone wrong there, to come up with the mechanisms or the processes what we need to put to repair them all. So then we start procuring the milk. So for example, milk the farm level itself, antibiotic testing, organoleptic testing, contaminants, adulteration test happen there. And the second level of testing happens at our processing plant. And throughout, even until it reaches your families, it is in a proper maintained quality control systems. So this is a very rigorous process. It's not just for milk. Now that we have come up with some other products like bananas, coconuts, and all that is procured from our farmers only. So that's how we have put a very stringent systems right from the farms.
Wow. Nice. And if someone actually wants to know the source or the farm where it's coming from, is there a easy way for someone to do that?
Yes, of course. So we welcome most of our customers. We have a very good track record about, of the 3 lakh consumers that we have, 40,000 of the families have visited our farms so far in this 15 years of journey. That's really nice. So that shows that people are interested. Parents are so much interested to visit our farms. We are most open, especially for our consumers, to come and visit us, and we show them what it is, what organic food consists of, what soil is, what food is, and we want you all to bring children and maybe your parents as well, and of course friends who are constantly worried about no this can't exist and things like that. That's really eye-opening. Once they come to our farms, it's too good for them. We encourage that.
So can you highlight a little bit about why it's good for children specifically to visit the farm and understand where the food comes from?
That's a good question, Gunjan. So basically, children are the ones that needs to know. But because of the practices that we as adults also know, we also don't follow many things. As it is said that children's teachers or maybe children follow what parents do.
Yeah.
Right? We have to make right choices. We have to eat first the foods that are good for us. Then we can direct them. We can show them, this is what it is. When we are consuming the junk and we are directing them, it doesn't work. So children are sensitive. Okay, their body is developing. They are building the metabolism slowly, and they need the right nutrition. So that comes when we as parents realize that importance. So the moment we realize, we'll have to take them. So how do we make them understand? Okay, so we just can't avoid this processing food. We cannot avoid all those things, but we need to have a balance. So we need to bring them to the roots. Okay, to bring them closer to the nature. So seasonal, regional foods. That's what we'll have to promote. So this program of visiting the farmers or visiting the brands, production areas, that will give them a kind of perspective of what really the good food is. So, in fact, I would say children are more closer to the soil because they are small and they are so much closer to the soil and nature. You'll have to see, at our farms, when I get overwhelmed seeing children, they just are, oblivious of the parents existing behind them. Okay, they are just go roll on the soil, touch the trees, pamper the animals. They don't see anything. It is we who have formed a perception, we who fear everything. I have seen, children taking the earthworm so nicely and, admiring their movements, where a parent is worried. That's a beautiful thing. So we should understand that they are more close. That's what they are longing for, internally. So if we bring in that, when we show them the live things there, that nature is the healer, nature is the one that is giving us everything, rather than closed counters or rooms like that. It is an amazing thing. We as parents know will have a responsibility, and we are doing good if we take them through the source of food as well.
True. So what can one expect when they visit your farm? Can you walk us through what are the different things that are open for people to see?
Yes. So the first, it's not that we have made it completely educational, where we'll take them through only that what organic food is, what soil is. So it takes it takes a lot of effort from us. So we have curated the program such that if it is small children, we'll allow them to move around, play in the soil and all those things, while parents sit through to understand what organic food is, why we need to conserve soil or preserve soil, why we need to support farmers, small farmers that are giving us the real nutrition, not the industrialized way of production that works when it comes to nourishment. So all these things we are exposing, and the children also, we are also taking them through, there are some village games, there is something like making some craft and things with the leaves, and we have, walking through the farms, so showing them what an organic farm is about, what are trenches, what are brunts, what trees, what. It's amazing to know that children don't know where the milk comes from. What a coconut tree is, what a trench is, how we can conserve water, all that, levels of learning, especially with the food. How much effort it takes to grow one grain of rice, or whatever vegetable that they throw. Those things are those are the values that they learn at our farm. That is all it's not just we are making them sit and preaching. Okay, through the journey, one by one, we have curated the program such that we take them through. In this journey, the parents are also learning so much.
That's true.
So, and we have, as entertainment, we have bonfire, and we'll give them all the meals, that is, be it breakfast, lunch, and the snacks, and all different kinds of veggies, that is all grown there only, except for the salt. The rest of it, even the oils that we are using in our kitchen is made at our farms.
Oh, wow.
So that's a very interesting thing, and that's what interests the parents as well. And we have incidents, where the parents are amazed seeing that this child is eating the entire thing. The rice is not even looking red, not even looking white color. The red rice that we are giving them, they're eating it because they are moving around. Their energy is being expanded. So they have that, urge for eating something. So they are amazed, like, how come this guy is eating this veggies and no fuss. I've seen the children eating it with big thali, putting all the things. That's amazing. They're having unlimited milk and curd. That's a very good thing.
That sounds very beautiful. I am sure Kian will enjoy this, because even I try to inculcate these things in him, and every time whatever we're eating, the only thing he wants to hear is how is this grown, or how, like, where is it coming from. So for example, if he's having spinach, or if he's having carrot, or he's having beans, he'll just make sure that I tell him the story of how it is grown, and then how it is coming to the market, and then how we're getting it home, and then how we're making it. So the entire farm to table story conversation happens there.
That's very nice. That's very important.
So can you give us some more tips on what parents can do who cannot physically make it to this program, right? It might not be feasible for everyone. People all around India are watching this. So maybe some things that they can do at home to inculcate these practices.
Yes, this is again a very good question. So what we as parents can do is, involve the children themselves in preparing meals. Maybe give them different little tasks of doing, fireless cooking. Ask them to cut vegetables, explain to them, let them go through that journey of making their own food,
Yeah.
to involve them in preparing the meals, in preparation of what next day. And then, it's best to have a small garden, whatever spaces we have, we can grow methi, we can grow pudina, some coriander. That's good enough.
Yeah.
We can start with the terrace gardening if we have some space, and involve them with growing plants across in your community, or maybe if there is a community in your area, involved with the plantation drive, make seed balls of it. There's some beautiful programs that these days, especially in the cities, we have.
True.
And parents can take little effort, inculcating these things with the community. If not, you can spend time. You can ask your community to join such kind of things. We Akshayakalpa itself has this good food for schools program, where the schools are involved, and they call us to set up small gardens where they are growing their own veggies. Children are involved in preparing the soil beds and understanding what manure is required for the plants to grow, and how to harvest them. It's about an 8-week program that is there for the schools, and we will be guiding them. That's it. So the children are so happy and curious to see, this is what I have planted. I've planted, and I'm seeing it's germinating. They're so they're so curious and so happy to see that what they have planted and is yielding now, and they're so protective of it, and they take that, cut that, and take it home and show it to their parents, and parents are happy. So they understand the effort, the time and space that it takes to grow, and they will value food.
That is true.
They will respect food without wasting it, and they'll understand in the process the nutrition, because they have grown it, right? So whatever small amount, we have to make efforts. If not for visiting the farms or farmers, this is what we have to do. We have to insist to the schools to have some kind of activities related to food, be it cooking, be it farming, in a small scale, whatever is possible. At home also, we need to, and it is, growing plants and being with whatever small plants is really healing. It is such a satisfactory thing.
That is true.
So why not?
So I have the story that I've often shared on my page as well. Kian never liked methi. So I did this. I took the methi seeds from my kitchen, and I just told him we'll plant a methi plant. And it took about 1.5 months for the leaves to actually come up. And then I made him harvest it. I made him, put it in his chila, and then he wiped that entire plate off because he had grown it. So he knew where it was coming from. And I think that was a beautiful process.
Yes.
But in our busy lives, sometimes we forget to repeat it often. Correct. That is nice. Okay. So I know that Akshayakalpa focuses a lot on traceability, right? So can you walk us through what happens from cow to carton, how that entire process of making milk, and how do you maintain that level of, I think transparency we've already talked about.
Yes.
But just the process of cow to carton.
So as I told you earlier, so it all begins at the farm level itself, where our farmers have been given a lot of training about maintaining the quality of milk. So be it at farm level testing for antibiotics and various other adulterants and contaminations. So that milk is also double checked at a processing plant for the same thing, same tests that goes into. So say suppose there is some kind of adulteration or something has happened at the farm level, so there itself it is detected. It does not even make its way to the plant. So it is all automated. So whatever, say suppose some adulteration or whatever has happened, even before milk comes here, the data is passed on. The technology has evolved so much at Akshayakalpa. So we get to know that, this batch of milk contains this. So it is rejected right there. So once it comes to whatever comes to our plant is proper, pure, safe milk. So, and then we, again we chill it, and we do undertake a lot of tests and processing, pasteurized and all those things until it reaches the customer. Okay, we maintain the cold chain all through. especially the milk, paneer, and some cheeses, curd, and all that requires continuous monitoring of this cold chain, direct from the plant, processing plant, to the doorstep of the consumer. So we train the logistics team as well, the delivery boys, and at the plant also.
Okay.
And everything is in a proper hygienic conditions under rigorous monitoring.
So, what are some red flags that parents can look at when buying dairy, especially?
Yes.
Because ingredients are not enough in that case, right?
Yes, that's true. So one thing is, any parent has to see for the expiration date. Okay, labels, as you said, that will be given. So we'll have to also be mindful. And it would have been written, if it is fresh milk, it should have been written that use it by this, maintain this temperature.
Yeah.
The temperature and the storage conditions are equally important. Okay, so say suppose the milk packet you are buying is not cold enough, or it is at some room temperature. That's when you have to be vigilant.
Yeah.
Okay, then it may, when you put it into the bowl and start boiling, it may curdle.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry too much about that, but you just have to take this as,
Yeah, that's a good sign to look
steps
for,
to know that, it's not fresh or something like that. It is not just with the delivery part or a logistic part, like how you are using it, how you are storing it as a consumer is also important, especially the milk. So suppose our delivery boys deliver between 5 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. So, and you are waking up at say 11, 10 and picking up the packet, and that it has broken the temperature chain, right? So it has to maintain that. So that awareness, it's all written clearly. So we'll have to put some effort to understand that, what has been written by the brand. And if it is not written, or some brands would not have told you all those things, you have the right to question. You should question. So that's what you should do. And these are some of the tips. And if the packet is puffed, or if it is tampered, or you feel that, you get that notion, right? That intuition tells you something is not right, and you'll have to raise the concern to the respective brands.
The expiration is a very good point, actually. Even I use that as a benchmark for buying any product. If the validity is too long, I start questioning whether it's actually preservative free or not, because without preservatives it's difficult to make something like dairy last very long.
Yes. So best is to, especially when it comes to the daily essentials like milk, best is to consume it then and there. I mean daily, rather than stocking it up and storing it somewhere and making some mistakes in usage. It's always better to buy the fresh ones.
That's true.
Is what we recommend. And if you have access, otherwise we always have this Tetra Pak milk that is treated milk that has a longer shelf life. But again, there also you need to read through the labels and understand the mechanism of using it again. So once you open that Tetra Pak, you will have to consume it, or maybe store it in the refrigerator. Otherwise, you can keep it at an ambient temperature for 6 months.
My son loves those Tetra Packs.
Oh, that's nice.
He calls it straw milk.
Oh, nice.
I've used it for traveling sometimes. So now even daily at home, sometimes he's like, no, I want that only.
Oh, that's very
I'm like, okay,
nice.
fine. Have it as a treat. So let's talk a little bit about, the nutrition, kids' nutrition, and the nutrition gap that we see a lot these days. I read somewhere that even kids who have a balanced meal can sometimes be malnourished. So what are some of the common nutrition gaps that you see these days?
Yes, Gunjan, I wanted to tell you this as well in the previous question. Earlier times, maybe when I was a kid, the nutrition was not at all of concern, because whatever little food, because the soils were good at that time, the water was not at all so much adulterated and so much contaminated as now. Things were easier. So we used to have regional and seasonal foods.
That's true.
So that was sufficient enough. So when it comes to when it comes to these days, there is the huge gap. Though we call it, we buy it from saying that this has, this product has, this food has this much nutrition and all. We'll have to be aware. As again, we'll have to reflect on the knowing the source of food. So one particular food does not cover the nutrition that is required. Say for example, ragi, what was grown in the 80s and 90s, had so much of nutrition, but that nutrition is missing now. Even though you buy it for organic, you buy it from the known sources. Why is it so? It relates again to, it takes us back to the soil. Because the soil conditions have deteriorated. The nourishment, the nutrition in the soil has been missing. So definitely that is percolating to the foods that the children are eating today. So it could be, now you might have seen there are various cases where the children are anemic, children are lacking vitamin D deficiencies, they are suffering vitamin D deficiencies, vitamin B12. So where does this come from? Calcium. So whatever we think, this is labeled, does have this nutrition, it is only adding to the bulk of things. We are having a lot of quantities. But the exact thing is, the proper right nutrition in whatever smaller foods. You cannot tell a child you have carrot, cabbage, broccoli, milk, rice, everything you can't give. So we need to be aware of how to bring back those good food systems.
Is it true that even, I don't know, but I've again read about this a lot and I've seen this floating around a lot, that our body's ability to absorb certain nutrition from food is also reduced over the years, again comparing it to 80s and 90s, which is why even if you're having a particular food which is maybe rich in vitamin D or vitamin B12, your body is not actually absorbing it. So is that something to do with our bodies, or is that something to do with the food itself?
It is both, I would say. The one is when related to the food, because some foods should be had naturally. Almost all foods, as is given by the nature. Nature knows what is required. We call, mango sun cooked. It is already done. You don't have to do anything. Just get that mango, see it is yellow in color, start eating. Why do you want to process it, pickle it, can it? Remove all the moisture, put some sugar for a long shelf life. All these things, that we need to avoid. So that's what is packaged food all about. You want to have it, even when it is not mango season. So that is why you want to can and process it and have it. So those systems, we need to bring back, and we'll have to educate our children, to aspire for eating seasonal foods. This is one thing, that nutrition that is broken in the food system itself. As I told you earlier, the soils have gone wrong, and henceforth the nutrition in the soil has also deteriorated, and it is going to our food as well. It does not have the required nutrition, the food systems. That is one broken. Another one is our body. Okay, so our bodies also know, because of the usage of, we don't have that access to the good food, the nourished, the right nutrition, so would not release a certain enzymes in our body for, for us to digest what is being put to us in the foods. Say for example, lactose intolerance. So I would like to talk about that milk as well. See, lactose intolerance is a condition where a person would not have a certain enzyme called lactase enzyme production in his body to digest that carbohydrate. The main carbohydrate in milk is lactose. Lactose is not digestible by him, by any person that is taking this milk, because he lacks that enzyme. So what made that enzyme being not produced in the body, we need to research. Okay, one is one reason is the genetic condition. Okay, he's born with these kind of things. So another reason is it is on and off. Say suppose some of them with the genetic conditions, after the mother's milk, after they wean off from the mother's milk, they develop this resistance again. Okay, so they can't digest any more milk, or maybe cow's milk that we start giving to a child. So that is one condition. Another one is the external factors. So the kind of packaged foods that we are having, that is impacting the production of lactase enzyme in our body. Same thing applicable for other things. See, our body releases certain enzymes, all the organs, be it stomach, intestines, liver, pancreas, so everything releases certain enzymes to digest certain foods. And if we are having these packaged or chemical laden or chemical preservative laden foods, it is killing the production of it. Those enzymes are not active anymore. So these are the reasons that one can become lactose intolerant or resistant, that where the nutrition, as you said, is not absorbed properly. This is one reason. And one more is, what they do is, they say, magnesium added, vitamin D added milk or maybe foods, or, folate added. It is not, the body cannot understand those things. So it leads to, various other, nutritional diseases. You are consuming, say, calcium supplements. Okay, so that may add up to additional calcium which don't require. What the body prefers is what is given by the nature. So nature knows what nutrition should go in perfect things. But people, what's happening now is we are messing with nature as well. So that's what we need to be alert and wary of things that's happening.
And this has actually happened with me. I used to have milk very normally, regularly all my life, and in the past 2 years it has really started affecting me. I'm not able to I'm able to digest curd and milk products, but milk in itself, it just messes up my gut.
Understood.
Really badly.
So you are basically lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
So we don't know whether it is a genetic one or through the food one.
Because it never happened until I was 28 or maybe. So it's just
yes. But with the proper doctor's intervention, so you can try out the organic milk or maybe little amounts of food or milk or whatever. But just because you are having curd and cheese and other things should not matter. The calcium, whatever is required, if it is sufficient for you, then that should work. So because that all those foods also have little amount of lactose, not as heavy as milk. So it looks like you're not so very completely.
Not completely, but it just, there's a little bit of resistance, I feel.
Correct. Some of them will feel bloating or that, some kind of uncomfortability. Right. That's bound to happen. But over a period of time, if you still have the liking for milk, you can start with small quantities and under the guidance of your physician.
Okay. So what about kids? Because I talk to so many moms on a daily basis, and I would say 50% of them tell me that milk either causes their kids constipation or some sort of gas or bloating, and these seem to be like the genetic cases, right? They seem to be rising these days.
Yes. So what we have noticed is, it is, as I told you, it is on and off, genetic ones. Sometimes they don't feel it after a certain period of time. This lactase enzyme production may trigger in their body, and they may restart it. And for some of them it may not come back at all. For them, it's better to avoid anything that is related to lactose. So that's the reason otherwise. So there are, mechanisms, when of course it comes up with a huge cost to understand whether somebody is born, has genetic disorder of digesting milk or so. So, but again, I think, see, when they are consuming mother's milk, it was not, mother's milk has higher amount of lactose compared to the cow's milk. So how did they grow up drinking that? So one aspect is because nature has given them to digest mother's milk very nicely, and then it goes off. So and again it may come back. So that's a kind of experiments that we need to put the children also into. And if a kid is completely averse to milk, we should not force them. So there are alternatives like ghee, butter, which has less amount of lactose. In fact, we have a very good product called lactose free milk.
Yes,
So
I think
you should try out those things.
Yeah.
That's amazing work and people are loving it. You don't have to miss the milk taste,
Yeah.
the right amount of calcium, and
Yeah.
especially the organic factor is what is
True.
catching them.
True.
So I think we should recommend lactose free milk for those kids as well. They would definitely start loving milk again.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So there's a lot of buzz these days about A2 milk and how that might be better than the regular milk that we used to get. What is your professional opinion on that?
Yes. So, as per our research, and we are doing a lot of work on towards this as well, because what we believe is what we eat is the most important thing. Same thing is applicable to the cows. Okay, whatever breed they are. And if you are, say, suppose you have your indigenous breeds, and if you are feeding not the right nutrition, if you are giving some junk, so something that is not monitored, it is grown, the fodder is grown in the soils that are treated with chemicals and lot of urea and things like synthetic urea and things like that. How can, even though the breed is indigenous breed, and the fodder you are feeding with these chemical laden feeds, then how can it yield you the real amruta?
Yeah.
It percolates, right? So 60% of what the cow eats is reflected in the milk. So does that matter? Is the first question we need to think on. See, if you have indigenous over evolution, just like how we had a tail, we were walking with all our limbs and things like that. The evolution has brought in such that this crossbreeding has happened because they were all migrants. Humans were migrants. Along with the humans, the animals were also migrating. The crossbreed, say suppose if we are moving to some other countries, we would have the tendency to marry somebody there. Same thing with the animals. They would crossbreed. And so that that kind of the initial genes would have been crossed.
Right.
You cannot get that initial stages, just like in the soil. You can't get the stage of the soils where it was, how it was in the 1800s or something like that. Correct? The same thing, it has evolved. But again, we as humans, who have brains, should think. Doesn't it matter like how we have to treat the cows? How we have to feed the cows? What water are we giving it? So that's what should matter. Of course, coming to this A2 concept thing, A2 is nothing but a protein. Okay, A2 is a protein, even is just like how our bodies are made up of amino acids construct. So similarly, these are a kind of proteins that are there in the genetics of the cows. So most of the cows do have these both proteins, A1 and A2, whether it is indigenous cows or the so-called A1 cows like HF or Jersey cows have had those genes perpetually because of this evolution. So these proteins, so some of these indigenous breeds have this A2 protein structure a little higher. So there is no proven research done that A2 milk is much better than A1. So in A2 breed also there may be A1 protein structures in their DNA. Right? So there is no research. It was just a kind of a sensationalism or something. So when we apply our logic and think, the feeds matter, how we treat our cows is matter. Okay, what is the environment that a cow is growing in is what matters.
But then why is it that A2 milk is so much more expensive than the regular milk in the market?
That's again, because see, for a farmer, when we see in a farmer perspective, it is very difficult for him to rear indigenous breeds. They are basically the wild animals. Their yield is very less. Okay, so they cannot be confined in a particular, paddock systems or whatever small spaces. It's very difficult. So eventually it will lead to the stress hormones for the cows. Right? They need to be, these kind of indigenous breeds have to be free range. or to find that amruta, what you think is a great thing. But it is very difficult for the farmers in the dairy sector to rear them. The yield is very less. Hardly they would give, 2-3 liters per day. Whereas these crossbreeds, we cannot call them as, foreign breeds.
Yeah.
They're born here. Only thing is that they've evolved over a period of time. That's all is the difference. Right? So they would be yielding better number of liters per day for a farmer to make it work for him.
Okay.
For him to rear these cows is difficult. So Akshayakalpa has to work with farmers. We train the farmers accordingly, where we have to make his work easier. We cannot impose him. We cannot tell him, you have to bring those breeds. Where does he bring? He has to go back in time, 100 years back to bring those things. So it is just a myth that, A2 milk, because the yield is very less of those indigenous
So it's the scarcity that is making it more
scarcity,
expensive.
exactly. That's what it is.
And I think the very genius marketers have sold it as a premium or some, there are some advertisements running that if normal milk doesn't suit you, you should try A2 milk and suit you.
They keep saying that.
Yeah.
And of course, there are, if A2 milk is also prominent, A2 protein is prominent in buffalo and goat milk.
Okay.
If at all they don't want any cow's milk, and if they are feeling that, then they can switch to buffalo or goat milk, which is exclusive A2. Their DNA structure is such that it is just named as. Again, if we logically think, you don't know about the feeds that they are being given. You don't know about what kind of water they are being given. So we need to apply that scientific logical thinking, when we are asking for certain things.
So Shilpa, let's do a very short, quick, rapid fire round, okay? What's your favorite way to enjoy milk at home?
I like to have the milk in my curries. So the traditional curries, what my mom prepares, that's when. And apart from that, some tea, some chai at home, especially prepared by myself, is what I like, because I like to have milk, chai with a lot of ginger, cardamom, cinnamon. That gives, to enhance, it enhances the taste of the milk, and that's how milk should be taken in.
True.
For adults.
What is one myth about milk that you wish more parents would stop believing?
So the myth is that, milk is not, not for adults. Milk is not for, humans or whatever. It's basically for animal babies. I don't want, I don't want people to think it's something that is workable. No. So it is a part of the nature's gift to humankind. See, milk is a kind of nourishment which has 18 of the 22 daily essentials, that is micronutrients that are involved. So why not, instead of, as I told you earlier, you cannot have a child eat so many varieties. He'll run away. Right? So milk has all that nutrition, and especially if it is from known sources, that is from organic brands like ours, then you are sure of all that nutrition. Vitamin D, it could be, calcium, the right amount of calcium, fats, potassium, zinc, all that is there. So why not? I want people to understand, especially the vegans, who say that milk is not required. That's your choice, personal choice. But also be mindful, because that's the only thing. When we are so happy when our kids have one glass of milk and that's it. We don't want him or her to suffer anything else or anything, right? The moment he has one glass of complete milk, we are so happy that my child
is going to be full for some time now.
That is so natural to a mother, because somewhere we know that we have passed on to the genes that milk is the real nourishment which has all the essential nutrition. Consciously or subconsciously we are doing it.
True.
Right? That holds true with the milk. So why do you want to keep that part of nourishment away from the families? That's the myth.
One simple change that parents can make today for a cleaner, safer meals at home.
One is involve your kids, as well as, your spouses or everybody in preparing the meals. And then at least, do your homework, basic research as parents about the brands. Okay, understand the source of your food is what three things that I would want to tell the parents.
Lastly, where can people go to actually book that farm visit that we talked about?
Yes, we have a very good website that is www.akshayakalpa.org, where they can book their visits. So residents of Bangalore can visit Tiptur, selecting the Bangalore farm visit program. And for Chennaiites, they can go to Chengalpettu. We have a proper link for that as well. And for Telangana state, we have at Shadnagar or Jadcherla, where they can go and book.
Okay,
and it's a nice program. It's a day program in Chennai for Tamil for Chennaiites and Hyderabadians.
Okay.
Whereas in Bangalore you can opt for 2-day program as well.
Okay.
So apart from that, there are so many beautiful events that we have, like organic circuit, especially for the cycling enthusiasts. We have good food for schools program, as I told you, when where the schools invite us to conduct these programs that also include label reading and cheese making and various other events that we keep. And we also have farmers market. If you can just visit there and make the purchases directly. You can talk to our farmers, understand the nutrition aspect of it, as to how to prepare. They bring what is grown in their farms. Okay, you talk to them, understand how it is prepared, and have direct interaction with our farmers. And so these are some of the things that we have, and one can enroll for these things. And one important thing is, if you are keen on understanding more about food systems, what's happening to the soil ecosystem and the environment in general, we have a very good channel called a Good Food Movement.
Okay.
Where we are not talking about the brand, rather we are talking about the general understanding of what food, what soil, what environment, what we as humans can contribute, have what we have damaged, and how it can be repaired, with various personalities across our countries. What beautiful research program that has been developed by our team. So that gives an insight. If you are not interested in dairy or things like that, that apart, this is the thing that every citizen of our country needs to know, is what I suggest, the Good Food Movement.
Well, thank you, Shilpa. This was a beautiful conversation. I learnt a lot, and I really hope this was able to answer a lot of the questions that even I get on a daily basis. And parents ask me, about the source of food and recommendations on, how to know what's good, what's not. And I really hope that this podcast is going to help them gain that confidence in the food that they're giving to their families.
Thank you for the opportunity, Gunjan. It's very nice talking to you.
It's lovely talking to you. So I end each episode with this segment that I call the Mom Pause. And the idea is to take a mindful pause for 2 minutes. Just sit in silence. Not just you and me, but everyone who's listening. I encourage them to just stay with us for the extra 2 minutes if they've listened so far. And there'll be some positive affirmation that we'll think of, a soothing music that we'll play, and we'll just sit in silence for 2 minutes.
That's nice.
So the affirmation for today is, I can make conscious, nourishing choices for my family, one step at a time. Simple.
Yes.
I can make conscious, nourishing choices for my family, one step at a time.
Wonderful.
So we'll all close our eyes. Everyone listening, watching,